And honestly, with the whole draft between these two teams here, looking at some of the anti-hunter tactics, both of them going for the crit. And it was Arkkyl that was getting denied a little bit harder because of the double hide and enemy alliance. And there wasn't like really a thorns that the Jingwei from BaRRaCCuDDa had to really worry about. So I wouldn't be surprised if Spacestation tried to prioritize his pick a little earlier, maybe go for an Artemis before that secondary ban phase.
But it's so hard, isn't it, totally, to come in? I mean, can you say Spacestation really did anything wrong? I mean, maybe a couple moments of miscommunication, but it's not like Dig played perfectly. It's just that when they got to the late game, those 50-50s are really 60-40s because Dig has the Aphrodite, you know, and they can sustain it a little bit longer. So Spacestation just has to try and regroup into Game 2 here in this matchup. Remember, you want to stay in the winner's bracket. You get an advantage in that final match. If you're the one that made it all the way through, you don't want to drop down.
And the winner of this set will go on to face out Rival.
That's right.
So that'll be an interesting matchup to see if we're going to get a EU versus EU or another NA-EU intersection here. Athena and the Uller yet again from Dignitas, as they're the ones with the first pick. And I believe Spacestation Gaming, they're probably, if I were to guess, they were to ban Giannis here. The mobility was a little bit too obnoxious. Last game, they banned away, I believe, the Sobek, and I think that's what they can let go. Just ban the Giannis, let the Sobek go through.
It is going to be the Giannis, and this is a good call. Zyrhoes looked great on it in Game 1. Not just that he was, like you said, the mobility, but he was finding some through space and time shots. I think you mentioned it. That was what kind of broke open the Fire Giant for them eventually. He kind of caught them in the corridor on the top side of the Fire Giant, and it stacked up on multiple members, and then they were finally able to grab it for themselves and make that eventual push.
And that's the two notes that I made between the questionable Zero Salt, where he tried to force the issue too hard before the engagement even started when he did it from his back cams, versus allowing the fight to naturally unfold, wait for Space Station Gaming to retreat and funnel outside in between that blue buff and the back cams. And that was just an easy positional ultimate. Whether or not it hits anybody, it's going to create a lot of portals for Dignitas to chase Space Station down.
And this does mean Dig is going to be the first pick overall in this matchup, and they're going to take the Sobek. So certainly a chance that goes to Variety, but we know Trixtank can play it exceptionally well too, so a bit of a flex coming right out the gate for Dig.
Very true. I definitely would expect 80% likely, though, to go to Variety. 80% is a fair assessment, so I don't think Space Station really have to worry about another Aphrodite. So if they're thinking about Odin, they should definitely hold off on that one for the moment.
But that's what's so strong about them winning that game on Aphrodite, right? This is upper bracket quarterfinals, I think is the right term for it, right? So that means that there's semis in the upper bracket, finals, and lower brackets, and the whole time you're playing Dig, you got to think, what if Variety pulls out that Aphrodite again, man? That's in the back of your mind.
Achilles and Sylvanas is the selection here for Space Station Gaming. And that's another good, interesting look here. There was a lot of control coming from JeffHindla. I think that he could have been a little bit more impactful with some of his engagements. He was kind of waiting for Dignitas to kind of get closer to him, which is what you could potentially do as a Sylvanas, but more than likely, he needed to look for some of these blink engagements, allow andinster to look for the cleanups once some of those purification beads were off cooldown.
Rom going to be the selection for Dignitas here, totally, and Arkkyl looked excellent on it in Game 1, so why not allow him to play it one more time, perhaps find those snipes and the big steroids. Going to be pairing that with the Discordia, so Dignitas are not going to be hurting for damage. In fact, that passive really could come in big for him.
That's basically what it all comes down to, because if it's not the Giannis, normally Zyrhoes leans on the Thoth. He has a huge mechanical display, no matter what god he's really playing. And Thoth, if you're accurate with him, you're going to be providing a lot of useful things in team fights, but Discordia's passive alone could sway the fights of either the solo lane, because it's still not, you know, set in stone if that's for Trixtank or Variety. If he plays a warrior, then Variety can easily use that Discordia passive. Or on the flip side, if Arkkyl wants to get a little bit spicy in that dual lane and try to get that early lane pressure.
It's just another way to have influence in other lanes without much commitment, you know, kind of like a World Weaver from a Neath, right? It's a way that you can give your team an advantage without having to commit very much from your own lane. So we'll see if Discordia can provide that benefit for the rest of Dignitas, as Serket comes in as the selection for Space Station Gaming. Very mobile, tons of damage.
So, Finch, do you remember at the beginning of Season 5 when Giannis, Serket, Dodgy was being first banned, Uller was being banned as well? Pepperidge Farm remembers here. Serket going through 6-pick, Dodgy still not even, I believe, shown in this whole LAN environment.
Surprising, right?
It is a little surprising, and Thoth still not being selected here by either of these two teams.
Robin going to be the ban from Spacestation Gaming. I like this. There's been a lot of Robin jungle, right? It's been very, very strong. The root, the Mystic Rush damage, the mitigation he can get. I mean, it's a lot. So why not go with this? Why not ban this, take it off the table, and try and force Dig to do something else in the jungle? And
it's not like they're trying to really focus out QvoFred here, right? Because his god pool is just too vast. You're never going to put him in an uncomfortable position. It's more about what Spacestation doesn't want to deal with. If Circuit is going to try to go on to any god, he needs to make sure that there's less defensive mechanisms for that god to escape the aggression from the last breath, from the death bane, and that last basic attack that's going to pop all those passive poison stacks.
That's a good point. You can't really ban Quvo out, can you?
Never
just gotta like maybe nudge him a tiny bit. Like if you're gonna do well with something else, you know, or something like that, right? So at least taking that one off the board is Jingwei is the ban for Dignitas. BaRRaCCuDDa, of course, looks very comfortable in this Jingwei pick, so try and take that away from him.
I thought Camazotz would have been the next ban because another easy opportunity to escape here with that bat out of hell.
And Variety loves it, yeah.
That's true. Ratatasker, though, through the Cosmos, takes not as fast as bat out of hell, but definitely having a lot of global pressure once that channeled ability finishes. And the Artemis ban from Dignitas, I thought Spacestation for sure would have picked it before the secondary ban phase, but Hachiman is just so safe. You can always rely on that pick.
Hachiman means that they've got their Hunter now. I was going to say they've waited on Baskin's pick for later, but I mean, Baskin could run Achilles mid, and who would really blink twice at it? So it's hard to say for sure. But Hachiman, a very strong selection right now, so safe with the mounted archery, and the Heavenly Banner able to provide some extra auto attacks, really for everyone, auto attack speed rather.
Still need a jungler for Dignitas here, and either solo or support.
Right.
Going to be the Hunt Bats, or at least a hover for the moment. A lot of control is the name of the game if that's going to be the case here between Discordia Strife. Having two people under that Strife becomes not only just a root, but also that madness effect, similar to Cobra's Kiss if you hit two different gods here. Sobek will have a lot of control as well, so augmenting that with this jungler will be a good look.
That's a quick evolution on the Strife, isn't it? If it's Pokemon, it's like they went from Squirtle right to Blastoise with no Wartortle in the middle. A root into the madness, all that extra damage. It certainly seems like a lot she can land.
Yeah, but you're applying poison stacks from Circuit for the passive as well. There's different.
There's different levels. Yeah. You're right. You're certainly
There's
right.
levels to this, Finch. There's levels to this.
Nemesis and Fafnir are going to be the next selections for Dig, so it looks like it is going to be Variety playing the Sobek, and Nemesis is going to be in the jungle for QvoFred. A strong roster that's been selected here for Dignitas so far. Puts the ball in Spacestation's court, and going to be Apollo.
Okay.
We've seen Baskin play this well.
Yes, he has indeed piloted this god very effectively, and I'm actually a little surprised that he's bringing it out here on land, but keep in mind that once Nemesis uses the shield, you're really looking for any sort of hard CC to shut her down and get it off, and the Apollo Mesmerize is a great way to do it.
And we've heard other teams in interviews talking about the way that Baskin plays in the mid lane, and it's kind of, I don't know if disrespectful is the right word. He plays very, very aggressively, and if you let him get away with it, he'll build up a big lead for himself. Apollo is one of those gods that can very much reward you for playing aggressive and taking those 1v1s.
Baskin plays very loose and furious sometimes, given the opportunity. So he'll definitely poke a little bit at Zyrhoes, see what advantages he can get away with exactly, because Hunters in the early laning phase will win those little boxing exchanges against mages before the minions get there.
Especially with that Audacity passive that Apollo has. When he gets all that extra attack speed, I mean, it feels almost like Soul with her heat stacked, right? You don't want to be in there, except it doesn't last as long, right? It's just I think it's 5 shots he gets, right? So a little milder.
It's up there. It's not Soul level, but it's up there.
It's pretty high up there. But we got both these rosters filled out here. Do you think Dignitas are going to be able to take this in 2, or can Spacestation force a game 3 to lead?
I mean, Spacestation Gaming needs to get off to, yet again, another early to mid-game start here. It's an Apollo mid. You're not really relying on the magical damage from Spacestation Gaming. You got a Sylvanas and 4 physical here. So Dignitas, if it gets to 25 to 30 minute mark, I think that they just should straight up 2-0 here.
Well, Dignitas certainly have a chance to get that 2-0, or at least we're feeling it on the desk. We got the casters standing by.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. First question, really. Who do you think is going to win this one? At the moment, looking at the picks and Banzo, I'm not a big fan of Spacestation's comp. It's very pick-orientated more than anything else.
Yeah, man, I don't know. Having this little AoE scares me for Spacestation. And among hunters that have AoE, I mean, Hui obviously on top because of the Sunbreaker ultimate, but Hachimon's right there with him. Mounted Archery, Heavenly Banner, both pretty good at spreading damage throughout a team fight, but we're going to need to see some serious Odysseus bows from both Baskin and BaRRaCCuDDa. But Barra's probably going to want to go crit in order to match Arkkyl's crit build that he always likes to go for. I don't know. Spacestation's composition, if you didn't like how, if you didn't thought the last one wasn't early game enough, this one feels like, despite Double Hunter, they need to get off to a good start.
And I think that's the big tale of NA versus EU here today too, is the fact that EU, they've been looking more mid to late game in terms of compositions this whole season, whereas Spacestation and the rest of North America, and generally even the United, said it themselves, like pressure is what they've been focused on a little bit more so. It's always going to be a question of which region's correct, because the a LAN, it kind of gives you a tale of what was right, what was wrong, or if both are viable.
Exactly. It's I mean, just based on the picks, you can tell that that's what a United feels like is what they want to prioritize, pressure, and same can be said for Spacestation. And Baskin's getting pressure right now in the mid lane, but this is a semi-unusual response to a red buff start from BaRRa and JeffHindla. Instead of going towards the purple buff for Trix and Arkkyl to deny any potential creeps going in that wave, instead they head towards their own red, and that's in response to Baskin getting the pressure in the mid lane. They prevent him from getting that invade.
That's fair. Also, the fact that andinster could have been floating around there. They recognize him on the right-hand side, though, with these right-hand harpies, as Spacestation look to get these for themselves too. Denied, however, by Dignitas in the early stages. I said it before, though, but I think this is a very pick composition from Spacestation. A lot of mobility, a lot of find a kill, try and abuse the situation of being in a 4v5. That's what this kind of screams to me here in this set.
I agree with you, but how are they going to be able to shred down in the later game
the
characters like Sobek, who can just stack physical defense on physical defense? The only magical he's got to worry about is Sylvanas, and trust me, he is not very worried about that. That is the question, and that's why the crit build doesn't seem to go the way that Spacestation should really go in my mind, because they need to be shredding through the bunches of protections that I'm sure Dignitas will be building.
Do you want to pick up the Discordia too? Because we've not seen Discordia in a little while. She has been played in the Pro League quite a bit here and there. Not so far this tournament though. And Zyrhoes going to pick it up in the mid lane after his Giannis was banned away from him this game. Very early of a pick too.
Yeah, Dignitas has always prioritized Zyrhoes in these games.
That's fair.
Hold that thought. Andy coming in. Could look for someone. Qvo gets a little bit too close to Zyrhoes, though, so the Corpus Chris will send him that way, so Andy doesn't find anything. It is always Dignitas looking to pick Zyrhoes as gods early. That's been, since they formed, they like to pick Zyrhoes as gods in the top 3, and no different here. But the Discordia, while we haven't seen a lot of it, I think it's actually pretty good against the lineup that Spacestation has here. I mean, the cripple on the Golden Apple is something that is going to really, really hurt andinster, Baskin, and BaRRaCCuDDa. Specifically Andy, though, you can react to the blink sound from a Circuit, immediately charge that Golden Apple, and just shut down everything andinster wants to do
Blink
after that.
from Andy, going to get a double kiss off onto Zyrhoes and on Qvo. Qvo uses beads there, I believe,
yes, he did,
to get away to safety, whereas Zyrhoes just managed to leap away. But the pressure now for Spacestation in the jungle.
Red buff, invade, goes Spacestation's way, pull a little bit off the
Good
mark.
blocks, good blocks.
He's going in there with that EI Jutsu, sprint popped as well. Andy trying to
Blocks
catch
again,
up.
looking for it, and Andy will get the kill. Turns around, kisses
beads.
Arkkyl. Arkkyl beads in response. First blood, Spacestation, just like we were hoping for.
And this is how they wanted to do it. This is how you draw it up right now if you're a Spacestation fan. Early pressure, first red buff respawn. They invade the red buff because Baskin gets pressure, but it all even goes back to Andy getting beads on that blink in, 20 seconds earlier.
Ago, yeah.
Exactly, because now Qvo's like, yeah, I don't really want to go fight because I don't have beads. Zyrhoes is lower on mana. He had to use that 3 to escape that little engagement. Though it's the little things like that, and now Spacestation get the first blood. They get a bunch of relics. There's only one relic up right now for Dignitas, and that's Zyrhoes beats.
And does that mean we're going to see more aggression out of Spacestation? I mean, they weren't even level 5 that time round. This time will be a different story, I think, of the next one, with those beads still probably not going to be available. Circuit could be looming at any moment, but Andy's still going to hit level 5 first. Maybe the blue buff will do that.
Still needs to hit level 5, a little bit off still, but speed buff will probably do it. He might want to just wait until he finishes off his full warrior tabi as well. He backed bot boots 2 and then an Oracle Chalice as well, and this will let him play more aggressively in the jungle because he can start warding the enemy XP camp, the enemy speed buff, and not worry about how much gold he's spending on it. He's already made his investment there, so he's doing this because because of the lead that he gained and because of the way that Spacestation wants to play this game.
Good bit of damage out there from Aquarius onto BaRRaCCuDDa, but BaRRaCCuDDa returns the favor with the lurking in the water towards the end there. As usual, you expect to see those sort of trades in the solo lane.
No, and with Warriors Blessing the way it is, they're very difficult to find solo kills, even against...
even with an execute?
Even with an execute, man. Warriors Blessing is awfully good at making sure you're healthy as often as possible.
Well, on the left-hand side of the map, we've not spoken much about BaRRa and Jeff so far, but quite a bit of pressure in this lane. The Sylvana seems to be what NA seems to be favoring a bit more in the duo lane.
Baskin actually dashed in, is looking to chase down Trixtank on this red buff. Maybe blink forward. Cubo, no beads, no life. He's toast. BaRRa gets the kill, and Spacestation get the red buff again. And
played around the beads, didn't they?
Playing around the beads, playing around the buff respawns.
And of course, Blink coming a little bit more often, but look at BaRRaCCuDDa going towards Arkkyl. His beads are still on cooldown too. So he's going to ult. Where is everybody? I tell you who's on his way. The Chariot of Death arrives, my friend. Baskin rides it to glory. 3 kills to Spacestation Gaming.
That's the most Spacestation play we've seen so far today. BaRRa and Jeff do a ton of work, and Baskin shows up from across the map to secure it and get the kill for himself. Really good team pressure right now from Spacestation, and you can already see Dignitas kind of reeling from it a little bit, right? Arkkyl pushes a wave that he absolutely should not, knowing that everyone is in that left side jungle. Thought he could get away in time and gets heavily punished for it. This is how you take it to a team like Dig. They probably aren't used to seeing early pressure because all of Europe seems to think that the slower metagame is a little bit better right now.
I'm not going to lie, though, but BaRRaCCuDDa playing a little bit better than we've seen so far this season. Like, very aggressive. Talk about aggression. Aquarius needs some help.
You know, and he's going the opposite way, but here comes Andy. Good route choice there by Aquarius. Picks the right escape route in that situation. Well played. Knowing that Variety and Cubo are going to try and block off his path with the Fatal Strike towards the tower. Doesn't panic. Just takes his time and finds the way out.
I thought Trix was going to find a tasty little morsel for himself, some scraps in the jungle, but unfortunately not to be. Aquarius gets his own blue buff and will head back to bases. He's pinged out by by Variety there, I should say. And back to farming we go. Speed buff spawning for the junglers, so they'll be busy with that for a moment or two.
But Trixtank showing up there delays Aquarius' back long enough that now he's going to miss that entire wave to the tower. So even though Trix doesn't get a kill, that rotation is certainly worth his time because now Aquarius is not getting that whole minion wave will set him behind Variety even more. He's already down about a half a level right now.
Yeah, both these solo lanes start with the teleport too. Keep an eye on how this red buff goes yet again. Spacestation have had this on lockdown. Something that a lot of these players will be experienced with in previous seasons, being focused around the speed. It's now all red, red, red.
And this time, look at the adjustment from Dignitas. They just give it up. And that's something that you can do better in Season 5 than ever before. You don't lose quite as much. They're up more often, but you're not quite as worried about losing one buff respawn.
It's a 4-way split, too, if you look at it. They're split in 4 ways, so it's not that much experience. Variety's getting low here, but he's baiting well because Cubo's on the rotation. Aquarius has no ultimate this time now, and could be in a bit of danger. Variety's ult is up, and the slow could be enough to find the kill. Aquarius' ult is available at the right sort of time, but the pluck couldn't get him out of the danger zone. The stun is good. Jukes again, looks to go for the kill. He went for it. Oh, the Man of Steel. Here comes Baskin.
He's looking for Cubo. Across the sky doesn't do it because of the shield, but Variety's 1 HP! And Baskin just can't quite finish it off.
Right, he was giggling to himself there. Look how he had a little smile on his face. I'm like, calculated. I knew what was up. Talking about calculations, andinster going to leap away. Trixtank goes under the tower. Trix has no leap to get away. Gets kissed again. Andy outplays him, and Trix's face just told the story.
Andy, Trix not quite used to going up against andinster for quite some time. It's been a while since they've gone up against one another. andinster's not going to let you get away with a play like that. I love the confidence that Spacestation's playing with, though, man. Aquarius, I mean, doesn't have a lot of lane experience. Came to Worlds last year, but was still a pretty new face on the Spacestation roster. He's really starting to rise up in a lot of fans' and minds on his level of play.
Kill, he would have got an extra couple thousand fans immediately with that one.
But why does he need to find it? It's just unfortunate that he didn't, but the mindset is there. He did everything right, didn't do anything wrong.
Fans' mindset, that's what I'm after there.
Yeah, fans don't always understand everything that's going on.
You are right. Spacestation lost the last game. It doesn't feel like it with how they're playing here. They've come in straight out the gates, looking to pressure, keep it up. Red buff's up. Red buff's going down any second because once again, Spacestation are here in numbers.
But eventually, Spacestation needs to get something besides red buffs. It's got to be red and purple and left mid Harpies. And they've been getting mid Harpies and Oracles consistently, but the gold Furies are going to be where it really starts to matter because Dig's really only, they're within a 1,500 gold or so right
I was going to say, we saw United against Rival do the similar sort of thing. They pressured the red buff consistently, and then the one time they don't go to red and Dignitas, and Rival had the numbers there, they went to the gold and snuck that away. So maybe we see that on a Space Station too. We'll find out as this one continues. Baskin over here, just a D ward. I love the fact that we get those aura pulses to let you know which ones are sentries these days on the map too. Clearly there. Trixtank under pressure, no ultimate. Oh, ultimate is available because they're looking to burst him quickly. Needs to transform, but on landing he could still be dead.
Yeah, Qvo, no!
He's out.
And he didn't hit the auto necessary to detonate the catalyst, but look at where BaRRaCCuDDa goes, straight towards the Gold Fury, but he's already low, so is Andy. This is going to be close. Arkkyl's almost in range.
Apple a day will not keep Space Station at bay. So another objective in the bag of Space Station Gaming. It's up about 2,000 gold now. That's the first real dip, I would say. It's just making steady decline with how this one's gone around the red buff.
And that's what Space Station was looking for, that big burst of gold in their favor. Imagine if they would have gotten the kill on the Trix as well. They would have been in a really nice spot. But again, I love the next idea up is fine. We don't get the kill on Trix. Okay, what can we do anyways? What did that pressure allow us to do? And in that situation, it's Gold Fury. And if you think that Gold Fury went down quickly, imagine once Baskin and BaRRa have their Devo glove stacks.
Very true indeed. Aquarius tries to play it safe, and Variety's having none of that. Plucks him back into Qvo, but on the rotation is andinster. Qvo gets the kill. Baskin arrives too. Gonna dash through Variety, and Variety's gonna make sure Baskin can't get involved. Andy turns tail himself to make sure that the pressure on Baskin is relieved, and Qvo will get away.
All right, Aquarius, young one. Still need a couple more things to learn, clearly. Just got done praising him for his calm demeanor under pressure, but in that situation, just a little bit early on that fatal strike, especially knowing that Andy's coming. I'd like to see him hold that, bait himself out a little bit, and then try and use it to make sure that Qvo falls in that situation.
These two hunters really go down. BaRRaCCuDDa's trying to show he can fight Arkkyl, but Trixtank throws a hammer out. Red buff goes down once again, given over to Baskin. Oracles are on the side of Dignitas here, so they know where Space Station are. Problem is, there's nothing really for them to chase with at this moment.
No, and Variety is okay with that because he's getting a tier 1 tower on the right side. This pressure from Qvo has really benefited Variety. Yeah, Sobek got a tower, and Sobek's up 2 levels on Achilles right now.
Tricky situation. Where do you expect his relic to go for Variety then on his second one now?
Thorns or Horrific Emblem. It's got to be one of those two. I mean, you already have one sprint from Trixtank. Look at BaRRa still stepping up in the 2v1 in that situation. I think it's got to be either a Thorns or Horrific Emblem because both of those deal with Hunters very well. Thorns by returning some of their damage, Horrific Emblem by slowing the attack speed.
Zero's going to face check this Pyro, and then, that pulled just off the mark, but it did get the beads out thanks to andinster's kiss. Pyromancer to Space Station, and BaRRaCCuDDa will find the solo kill against Arkkyl.
Wow, chased all the way down between his tier 1 and tier 2 tower. There's a blink forward. Zyrhoes, no beads. Zyrhoes is gone. He did get the ultimate off on the JeffHindla, and that'll spread to Aquarius, but Trix got a little bit of an ultimate spread for himself.
A couple of minions here as well means that Baskin can keep whacking away in the tower. The rest of the Space Station not interested in sticking around though, so Baskin has to give that one up too. BaRRaCCuDDa! Like, that's a name we've not stuck a lot of so far this split, but my oh my, getting a solo kill against Arkkyl. Those are two hunters I would not expect to die to each other. They're both at the same level.
And Arkkyl sounded awfully confident in his pregame interview against BaRRaCCuDDa, didn't he? Said he felt like he had the better end there, but BaRRa, it was only a matter of time, man. There was no doubt in my mind that he was going to come in and make a big impact in the Season 5 spring split. Took him a little bit longer than I think he would have liked, but heard him talk about it yesterday as well in one of their interviews, that it just kind of took him a while to understand what he needs to be doing, what his
new
role
job
is.
What his new job is, because obviously Season 4, it was all, give me the farm and I will do the plays in the mid-late game. But now it's not the case. It's more, hey, we can still make things happen, though, as hunters.
Well, it's not only meta shift, but it's team dynamic shift as well. When was the last time BaRRa wasn't the guy on his team? It's been a long time.
That's true.
Probably ever, really, when you think about it. Even going back to that Season 1 team, BaRRa was a headliner for that squad.
andinster was alongside him.
andinster was the guy, so you're right. It was Season 1, the last time that BaRRaCCuDDa wasn't the star for this team. Now he's got to adjust. How does he handle playing second fiddle? And he clearly is starting to feel comfortable in that role, and it's starting to show in his play.
Pressure in this tier 1 tower. Arkkyl's still just been left alone, can't do anything, but in mid lane, Zyrhoes falls again. Surprising to see Zyrhoes take a couple of tumbles so quickly, as Arkkyl's now under pressure on the left, and Dignitas can't choose a direction because everyone's dying.
Oh, but BaRRa's in a lot of trouble. He might be next on the list. BaRRa doesn't have that ultimate, but pull is good from JeffHindla to keep him away.
And he's on the way too, as is Baskin in the sky, looking towards the kill on Arkkyl. Still alive is BaRRaCCuDDa, juking out. The body blocks are good. Quvo will get the kill, but it will cost him his life as Andy gets a double. Even the solo laners have turned up to this fight on the left-hand side. Worst thing about this, though, Aggro, the Gold Fury's about to spawn.
Exactly, and even though you lose one hunter, you still have Baskin right there, and he's got an Ichaival level 15 right now on this Apollo. This Gold Fury is going to be difficult for Dignitas to stop. Only real steal opportunity I can see is Variety's lurking in the waters, but that's awfully telegraphed. You can just, reset it and back up.
As we look towards Variety trying to contest this now, I'm starting to feel that both these metas work. Both ain't going to use metas work. It's been shown. It's not just about late game. Look at the damage the Space Station have been doing, but Jeff could be dead here.
Baskin gonna separate from him, and Variety's looking at Baskin, but he's looking at Zyrhoes. Big soul reaver proc there. Zyrhoes very low, has to use the Aegis, but andinster will claim his 5th in a row. 5-0 now for the jungler.
Baskin does fall there, which will slow them down a little bit as BaRRaCCuDDa was in base, so no Gold Fury attempts available now. Aquarius gonna get plucked in towards Arkkyl. Has to dash, has another dash available, and will use that nicely. Andy was just waiting around the corner to help out once more.
Rare miss from Trixtank. That hammer's got to land off that pluck because Aquarius not going to die most likely, but you're almost certainly forcing his ult in that situation if you continue that CC chain and allow Arkkyl to start shredding through him, even without Arkkyl having any pen yet in that build. It's still even levels right now for Arkkyl and Aquarius, so probably would have forced him to use the ultimate defensively.
A win for Dignitas, though, as they do get that tier 1 tower in the mid lane to join them on the right-hand side. Speed attempted to be stolen, and is by QvoFred. Quvo got an ult early on. Variety gets knocked up there. Jeff trusted his pull. That's what happened there. Jeff pulled and thought, that's hit. Went for the ult straight after.
I think it's because Quvo used the ultimate defensively. He used the ultimate in order to get movement speed, to get away easier, and Jeff thought that was the, oh, they're engaging on me signal, so he used the ultimate just to make sure.
Andy gonna go in on Trixtank yet again. Trix has his ultimate, but transforms in time. Still the poison is ticking away, and BaRRaCCuDDa thinking about giving chase. Gotta watch out for Variety around the back, though, who's still lurking. Not in the waters just yet, but he could if he needs to, and he might need to around this Gold Fury.
Gold Fury very low already. Variety gonna try and reset it. Baskin plucks back in, and he's pretty low here as Zyrhoes throws the ult.
Ult only hits onto JeffHindla on the backside, though, and he's causing some problems, and Arkkyl has sensed blood and looking for the Circuit. Won't be able to find it as Ambush gets him away to safety, but Baskin's in the sky at the same time. Who's he after? He's after the Crocodile, or maybe Zyrhoes, who's left alone.
Oh, Quvo trying to chase down Andy on the left, and he will do so successfully. So 1-for-1 jungler for mid, but its health bars look better for Space Station right now, and they still have those 2 hunters here, Hindu.
Really does have both hunters, and now with the Hachiman banner as well. Extra attack speed for them, not alone. The Audacity passive as well, taken into account from Apollo. This should be burnt relatively quick, and is second Gold Fury of the game in the bank of Space Station Gaming.
Feels kind of similar to Game 1, where Dignitas and Space Station would kind of go back and forth. Someone would die on each side, and health bars were relatively similar, but maybe Dig had a slight advantage. But then the sustain from Afro is what kept it in Dignitas' favor in Game 1. This time, no Afro, and instead, Space Station has 2 hunters with Devourer's Gauntlets, and that Sylvanas heal
Baskin
as well.
versus Arkkyl on the left-hand side is about to go down too. Arkyl's getting chipped down on the left as the Pyromancer is still being contested. Pyromancer does go down to Space Station, and Baskin also picks up the kill on Arkkyl at the same time.
And Arkkyl used the beads there, still didn't do any damage at all to Baskin. Maybe he life stole afterwards, but didn't seem to be a very even trade there. Arkkyl having a rough game here, and I was kind of being a proponent of take away the ROM. Clearly Space Station knows better than I do because
give him the Hachiman is the right answer.
Exactly.
Yes, for BaRRaCCuDDa this game. Player damage at the top, you're going to expect to see the Achilles up there, but Baskin's alongside BaRRaCCuDDa both climbing up there nicely for themselves too. Actually, all the members of Space Station Gaming, outside of good old JeffHindla, who's there for the moral support, or rather heals, I should say, more than anything else.
Andy lurking with Baskin in the jungle, but they're on top of a ward. They just don't really know about it. Aussie pickup here for Baskin, just trying to keep the lead rolling as quickly as possible. Just understanding that this is when Spacestation wants to fight, because BaRRa just picked up Executioner. Now they're both going to be hitting harder. BaRRa and Baskin are hitting the same targets.
BaRRaCCuDDa going aggressive in the jungle there towards andinster and Baskin, and finds Baskin with the pluck. That's going to get the Aegis out. Beads not available as well, or are available, but it's not going to be needed as QvoFred picks up the kill. Wow. Just an awkward position.
Yeah, that's a big pick, and now Aquarius is in a lot of trouble. He used Fatal Strike to get away, but Sprint is ready. Stun not going to be enough. Aquarius is dead here.
No.
This is a bad look for Spacestation, and this could be a Fire Giant pull. Now remember, Baskin's up in 30, but he has his ultimate, so Dignitas has to get it in that time frame before Baskin can come and affect it. But yeah, if I'm on Dig, I think I'm calling FG here. They're only down 3K right now.
Trixtank has his ultimate too, so can coerce the whole team with that extra attack speed if needed. Going to take it up for his team as well. Cuvo on zone duty alongside BaRRaCCuDDa, but Cuvo's getting very low. Has to dash away, and he's going to give chase, looking for the kill. Fire Giant still being done at the same time. BaRRa's trying to get hit to contest. Fire Giant's not low enough. This could be a good fight for space, but BaRRa dies.
But BaRRa's already dead. Arkkyl very low. He gets knocked up by the Fire Giant. Andy gets the kill. Cuvo still hanging around it. 1% HP.
In the sky comes Baskin, riding over his chariot of glory. Who will be the target? Cuvo's relatively low, but Trixtank's the easier option to bring down.
Could go back to fire here, but it's only 3 members. No, they're going to keep pushing forward. Variety still able to dash out of danger. Honestly, that could have been even worse there for Dig, and Zyrhoes almost gets picked off by andinster.
Yeah, and he's got no additional things. So he's got to be careful of Variety's still hanging around too, but it did delay Variety's back for the teleport too. Fire Giant start up. Both hunters are not available with BaRRaCCuDDa being dead right now, so it's up to mainly Baskin. And he's on zone duty once more, trying to keep Zyrhoes busy. Man in the corner though, Variety and Cuvo are back, and they've got Jeff.
Oh, Jeff in a ton of trouble, but so is Zyrhoes. He's got to use the Aegis. Jeff's already dead.
He's dead.
And there's the last breath. Zyrhoes dead to rights 100%. 3 in a row now for Andy, but he's got to worry about Cuvo here.
Got a bit of help from Aquarius going around the corner, and a good stun will provide enough peel for Andy to ambush away to safety. Variety's going to pluck Aquarius, but that's all that is for now. The Fire Giant stands, and in all honesty, Space Station, they get away with a bit of murder there because Baskin died in mid, well, just towards mid, and then also, oh no, not again,
That blink pluck, man.
He's got bees this time.
Trying to finish him off. Baskin life stealing, but here comes the snipe from Arkkyl, and Cuvo gonna make sure that he falls down. Now Aquarius again. First Baskin, then Aquarius. The sequel this time around.
Aquarius just trying to buy time for his team to turn up just to make sure they can reinforce this Fire Giant once more, because Caster's Curse, man, we just said they got away with murder, and now, well, they might not get away with murder.
And this is twice now that Baskin has gotten blink plucked and no beats. He's had it both times. He just hasn't used them.
Andy in the mid lane, though, gets a bit aggressive, has to immediately walk away there. The Magi's cloak keeps him away from that hammer stun, as his beads were still on cooldown.
Man, in Baskin, we were so worried about what Variety was going to go for with his relic choice, Thorns or Horrific Emblem. Never brought up Blink, and for, you know, not something we see that often, and clearly it's working out so far for Dig. That has gotten them their entire comeback here, has been Blink Variety.
Fire Giant starting to be chipped up. Variety on the front line once again on the Sobek. Good knock-up and Frenzy pop too. Looking for the kill on Variety, but BaRRaCCuDDa's getting all in by Cuvo and Trix. Down he goes. Andy does pick up the kill on Variety though. Fire Giant getting low, and Arkkyl's been tanking this up all day.
Arkkyl's so low.
He might die. He might die.
Baskin comes in and finishes him off, dashing forward, looking for Zyrhoes. The double lifesteal, not providing too much for him. Here is Cuvo now going to turn his attention.
No, Cuvo's going to get away too. Baskin used both his relics. Fire Giant is slowly resetting. Could be picked up at any time. Andy blinks in on Trixtank, who's about to transform any second. I love the leap from him to try and create some distance, but maybe Space can go for the Fire Giant here.
But again, they're all kind of low here, Hindu. I mean, Baskin's half HP, so is JeffHindla.
He's got Aussie.
Does have Aussie, double lifesteal for him, but there's a taunt on a QvoFred. Beads are good. Baskin gets hammered down by Trixtank, but the rest of the team kind of backing up here. Still a little tentative. Pyromancer is a much safer call.
I don't think anyone's going to contest the Pyromancer this time around. They will contest that Fire Giant. The wall coverage for Space Station, very heavy here. Baskin back in the mix. BaRRaCCuDDa just coming back from base once more. This is very similar to game one now, I should say, around this Fire Giant, because these fights have been intense, and it's all a matter of inches more than anything else.
Man, this has been a two-man show for Dignitas so far. It has been only Variety and Qvo really putting any sort of pressure on a Spacestation.
I want to call out Zyrhoes because he's gone unnoticed a lot of this game, but Zyrhoes is doing a lot of control so far. He's causing some issues. He is 1-5.
And he's also got less than 10k player damage.
But what he is doing is causing some issues in terms of like dispersing the fight a little bit more so. This Scotty pick hasn't worked overall though, granted, and it really is those two, but the Scotty's made a bit of an impact, I will say.
Gold Fury going down very, very quickly here. Double Hunter with that Heavenly Banner, but Trixtank is here. Spacestation get the Gold Fury. Not a big commit there from Dignitas to try and steal it away, and can't say I blame him. Can't afford to throw away a whole game off of just a 24-minute Gold Fury.
Well, it's only 4,000 gold difference between the two teams now with how this one's looking. 5 kills separate them too. 1,800 experience. That is nothing.
No, not at this stage of the game.
Nothing.
Not really at any stage of the game, to be honest with you. Even early on, 1,800 experience. It's a little scary, but certainly not by 24 minutes. Are you worried about that? The big difference is that Zyrhoes just now hit level 17. Baskin's been level 20 for a while. But at the same token, I mean, Variety's up 2 levels over Aquarius. Qvo's been 20 for a little bit over andinster. So what one team has, the other team wants.
Game 1, we mentioned the clock. Game 2, we kind of said the same sort of thing. The Dignitas might go off in the later stages, even against 2 Hunters. Is that still the tale now, how these two have played this?
I don't know. I think I'm getting worried now for Dignitas because Titan's Bane is done for Baskin. BaRRaCCuDDa almost has his done, and Chin Size are done for Baskin as well. So now Variety has to be very concerned. He's not going to be able to frontline nearly as well as he has been able to against a full build level 20 Apollo. Does
have the Midgardian Mail, though, to slow down some of that attack speed from the 2 Hunters, but maybe that's just not enough.
No, I don't think so. Not with Baskin and Audacity, full build, man. I really want to see Baskin sell that Ichabod for an Odysseus bow, though. Spacestation is still lacking.
Baskin's a little bit far forward there and eats more damage than he bargained for. It's going to force the heal out of Jeff, and he will sustain off the Harpies there, so it's not all doom and gloom. He's just got to be a little bit... I just think Baskin's getting punished a little bit more for how aggressive he's been in North America throughout the season.
And that's what you got to do in these sorts of land games. You have to watch an entire split's worth of games from a team, see what they do well, see what they need to work on, and try and exploit that. And I think Dignitas has done a great job of it towards the end of the last game. I mean, where was every ultimate going? On to Baskin, because he was far enough forward for that to be viable, and because Blink Circuit with a Soul Reaver proc off the Aphrodite 2 is really hard to play around. Not saying that Baskin was out of position in that last game, but he is going to position aggressively, and that's just his play style, and that can work for him or against him, and Dignitas is trying to make it work against him.
Kind of a fall-off in action for a moment or two with the Gold Fury being down, and both teams realizing that every time they go near the Fire Giant, multiple members of each team die, that it's just not the right opportunity. It's going to be about a pick, I feel, more than anything else, and I'm looking towards the Sobek more so, and andinster on the other side of things. So it's Circuit versus Sobek realistically. Qvo obviously will make an impact, but I think it's those two that are going to set the start of the fight.
And if Baskin gets Blink plucked again without using the beads, then I just can't imagine that that's going to happen here. That has been the only way that Dignitas has been able to come back.
Fire Giant pulled again. Andy on the front line going all in on Tricks, and Trix is already dead. Big play. Apple does hit JeffHindla, but this is a reset from Spacestation for a moment or two, not allowing Dignitas just to be like, okay, we can walk up and clear some wards right now, but now we're in a 4v5.
You ordered a pick, sir. Here's your pick on the Trixtank, and that's all around andinster. As you said, it was either going to be Variety or Andy. You were right on the money there. Good damage there off of Discordia, but...
He's going to run now because the chase could be on, and he has his Blink still available and going to go in with a kiss and get the beads on his Zyrhoes too. Qvo going to chop back at Andy and force him back to the safety. Spacestation happy with the result of getting the beads there and knowing Zyrhoes has no ult. Return towards the Fire Giant.
Now it's a matter of who from Dignitas is able to try and get in there and make something happen. Of course, it's going to be the Variety, the first one to try, but already see how much more damage he's taking at this point.
I didn't really love banner out of BaRRaCCuDDa. I would have liked to see it around the Fire Giant for extra steroid abuse, but it's not going to be the case. Fire Giant's reset yet again. Trixtank is on his way once more. So all that's down so far, if you look across everything, is the ultimate of andinster, which is up momentarily. Same for Zyrhoes' ultimate. And then 2 relics, Blink and beads. And I'll tell you what, those beads on Zyrhoes is going to be very important, I feel, for the next 2 minutes.
Arkkyl realizes he's in a bad spot immediately and rolls away. I want to see Spacestation play a little bit more aggressively right now, though. I mean, Variety's only on 5 items. As soon as he sells that Warrior's Blessing, that could be a high to the medium lion. It is absolutely going to have at least a little bit of physical defense on it. if Baskin's hitting him really hard right now, Baskin's not going to be hitting much harder for the rest of the game. He's full build. Power pot's all he'll be able to get. I would like to see Spacestation start to play more aggressively right now, but it might have already been too late because Variety's on tier 2 of his next defense item.
Can we notice that there's only 3 players at level 20 in a 29 nearly minute game?
There's been so many dances around the Fire Giant, it's difficult to do it.
But it's just the rotations. It's not been a farming game, you know?
Gotta say, I am not a fan of the Winged Blade here for Variety. That's got to be a Witch Blade. I mean, if you want HP, sure, the extra movement speed is great on Sobek, but Witch Blade, to have no Witch Blade against this many auto attackers
where's the slows?
is crazy. I mean, Hachiman ult.
Is that the only slow?
That's the only one I see.
A bit awkward. I mean, we'll see. Maybe he's got an extra plan with that we've not realized just yet. But Pyromancer going to get looked at for a second by Variety, but he got stunned in place by Aquarius. Jeff's a little bit far forward and getting invested on. Ultimate out from QvoFred towards the tree into the sky goes Arkkyl looking to snipe it down. Frenzy used by Jeff before he dips out the fight to help out the team. On the backside, Zyrhoes got left, and Aquarius finds the kill.
And he's still chasing down Arkkyl right now, handling 3 members as Trixtank gets ditched on the backside, but he's able to jump up. But look at Baskin going up into that chariot once again.
Oh, he didn't find the ultimate down on Trixtank, but he's still going to find the kill. 20-12 and 2 members dead. Honestly, Aquarius finding Zyrhoes was really a big impact.
Huge, but it all started because of andinster. He blinked in and found the Cobra's Kiss and the ultimate onto Zyrhoes, who again didn't have the purification needs. All of that was Dignitas on the run from minute 1 of that team fight, because Andy has been on point with these engages. He has been so good this game about controlling the pace. Anytime Spacestation's controlling the pace of a game, you know it's because Baskin and andinster are playing well in tandem, and that's what we've seen so far from them here in this one.
Barreling down the right-hand side of Spacestation Gaming. I'm looking for this Phoenix, trying to get it before Zyrhoes and Trixtank respawn. They're open in a moment's time. And he goes for the kiss, can't find Cuvo, but Cuvo walks back into the ultimate. He's forced back, as is Arkkyl and Variety. Phoenix down. Spacestation, that's a big win, getting that Phoenix.
It isn't the best Phoenix to get, though. It is the one close to the Fire Giant. But exactly, a Phoenix is a Phoenix, and he'll strip away QvoFred's speed buff as well. He's probably more upset about that than losing the Phoenix. And this is a great opportunity for Spacestation to reset and buy their final item. The Odysseus Bow for BaRRaCCuDDa is the perfect option. Mantle of Discord for andinster means that good luck killing this guy. He's got so much in the way of protection in that build, as well as mobility. Aquarius is fully slotted now. He was waiting on a couple items towards the end of that team fight. And now Dignitas has got to figure out an answer to this engagement from andinster, because that's the big one for me.
And I love his build too. Like, we've been touching on builds a little bit, but Sirket can abuse the fact that she's got true damage in her kit a little bit more so, and going for a bit more defense here. The Midgardian, sorry, not the Midgardian.
The Anchile?
Not the Anchile. I can't, my mind has gone blank on the item. The first item in his slot. What a, Mantle of Discord. My brain just farted completely there.
You got so lost that I got lost. I was like, it can't be that, because
okay, going back to the Mantle of Discord, I like because he can go all in here with this and then still get that stun off. We've seen him do it before in the likes of Nemesis, where he gets a couple of men stunned to get himself out of the danger zone.
Well, plus he also has 40% CDR with this build. Between the Jotuns, the Mantle of Discord, and that Anchile, you're able to get as many last breath ults as you can. Maybe 2 of them in a team fight is just backbreaking. Or even not even that, just being able to deathbane away a little bit sooner. I mean, QvoFred's chased him down before on that left-hand side underneath the tier 1 tower. It's going to be so hard to lock down Andy between the CDR and the protection and health.
And now I'm looking at defense from Dignitas, because realistically I'm looking at a Variety clock. If they can avoid that Spacestation here, they've got a lot of options. Also, I guess the purple carpet of death from Zyrhoes is the only other thing that can really cause them a problem if they group.
Zyrhoes he got both hunters, and that's going to force Spacestation back for the moment, but Variety dashes away. That was the opportunity, because the rest of Spacestation was backing up. If he finds a pluck on a JeffHindla or Aquarius there, they get separated heavily from that team fight. Now that poke on a Bear and Baskin doesn't matter. They both have lifesteal and Fire Giant buff.
Right-hand Phoenix going to take a little bit of a time to respawn right now. 5 minutes are slowly starting to filter down there, but they don't have to be worried about just yet. Maybe Spacestation just wait a second or two for that opportunity.
I think that's the right idea. I mean, beads are down from BaRRaCCuDDa, though. He used them there, and all the relics are coming up from Dignitas, so that's a pretty big deal. Now BaRRa's got to be really separated from the rest of the team, but close enough that Jeff or Aquarius can come help.
Blink of Variety, but he splits the uprights and all in onto the Sobek. The Crocodile is dead. The tree may go down in toe, though, in response from Quvo, who's looking for the kill and will find it. Great stun from Trix onto Baskin to stop him chasing onto Zyrhoes. But QvoFred's in trouble, and the execute's available for Aquarius if he wants it. He'll get a kill on to Quvo, and Baskin picks up the life of Trix.
Oh, he's going to get the relic and the life
We're
of
going to
Arkkyl
game 3.
as well.
We're going to game 3.
Spacestation bouncing back beautifully up against Dignitas.
I'm not going to lie. I didn't like this composition, but Spacestation Gaming made me eat my words. 33 minutes, and they make it a 1-1.
Man, it's just that simple. Variety is making so many plays in that game. He's finding blink plucks on a Baskin, and then that's the opportunity, right? Blink pluck, you miss,
it's the right
you
play.
lose.
It's
It is the right play.
play.
It is just, if you hit that pluck, maybe you win. If you miss that pluck, you absolutely lose. But that's a risk you got to take.
I love the fact we're watching other players put their shoes back on. That's
Yeah,
exactly what's
classic.
happening here, because no
Classic.
one really plays at home with your shoes on.
No, I don't, but I never took my shoes off at LAN. It felt weird to me. Like,
It's that comfort thing. So they're all going to put their
Yeah.
shoes on to go and have a quick team talk, nice and quick. And see
I don't
what's
know.
going
It just
on here.
it makes me feel like dirty a little bit.
Like you got no shoes.
Yeah, like in a public area or something like that.
He doesn't buy boots, guys.
I don't really own that many pairs of boots, so I guess you're right.
Just like rap. How do you feel about game 3 then? What's the big difference here? Picks and bans, is that important in one way or another?
I mean, I don't really think that picks and bans dictated this game overall. I mean, obviously the composition from Spacestation was really good. I was not a fan of Zyrhoes on the Discordia, but outside of that, I really just feel like Arkkyl had a bad game, and Zyrhoes didn't make the impact that he probably wanted to. Variety and Quvo, man, they played lights out that entire game. I wouldn't change a thing for either of those guys. I don't know if it's taking Arkkyl off ROM necessarily, but making sure that Arkkyl is in a more comfortable position. You can't let him lose that many red buffs in a row.
While these players get themselves ready for a game 3, you guys choose who's MVP in that one. Plenty to choose from, in all honesty. Let's get over to the desk to break that one down.
Thank you, Hindu. Thank you, Aggro. Finch and Tolly. Going to be going over game 2. It's a game 2 that set up a game 3 here between Dignitas and Spacestation. For you, what was the key to this one, though, to make it so different from game 1?
It was the red buff invades, honestly. There was
a lot of them,
so
wasn't it?
many of them, which actually led to a 2 solo kills differentials. One from BaRRa around the 12.5-minute mark, where BaRRa had red buff, Arkkyl didn't, so BaRRa played aggressive. And then about 6 minutes later down the road, where it was actually Baskin taking that 1v1 against Arkkyl, probably caught him by surprise there, taking him out. And also
at the tier 1 tower, right? Arkkyl was pushing up. Yeah.
Around that dual lane tier 1 tower.
Yep.
And then also Zyrhoes was underperforming because of the pressure that andinster had on their Circuit. I think Circuit is the reason why both of these teams are kind of thriving here.
And that was the thread you and I were keeping an eye on sort of as we watched along the game, right? Zyrhoes definitely ended up very far behind. I think there's a point where he had, like, what, 4 items, and Baskin had a bajillion or something like that, and it is going to be Baskin who's going to be selected by you all as the MVP. He did this in a lot, kind of coming in on the tail end maybe of a couple of them, but certainly looking good on the Apollo. Yeah, see? Right there at the end.
There was so many
Baskin
moments where Dignitas started the Fire Giant, allowing Baskin plenty of time to revive and then ultimate back in here. Dignitas did a great job blink plucking, not that last one that you're seeing on your screen there, but before that, they resulted in picking off Baskin, picking off Aquarius, which resulted in Fire Jump number 1 around that 18 to 19 minute mark. And then they were all the way in the duo lane, so it took a while to get to the Fire Giant. So then about 2 minutes later, where they failed the first attempt, they got those 2 very same picks yet again. Same exact method with the blink pluck, but then they staggered. They didn't do Fire Giant immediately after, despite being right next to the Cove. They went to the mid lane, they staggered, allowed Baskin to revive again, stopped the Fire Giant attempt, killed Arkkyl, and allowed them to kind of snowball the game from there.
Just not quite able to get everything going. And I was talking about this just a moment ago. The thread that we were following is how far behind Zyrhoes was. That could be part of why they didn't feel comfortable maybe pulling the objectives or all in committing them. They just didn't have enough from him. So once he was finally able to get close to catching up, it was too late, and Spacestation Gaming kind of finally put that one to bed. But I totally want to give credit on this Dignitas roster to Variety and Quvo. You heard Aggro alluding to it towards the end. QvoFred in particular on this Nemesis is part of what kept them in this game.
That's true. They ganked the solo lane a couple times there. They needed to
Right.
find something off of that early game discrepancy. They took advantage of Aquarius that one time around, and even Variety was able to, distract some members there. Dignitas was able to make some plays in the dual lane side, and as a result here, QvoFred on the Nemesis got it away for free here after the secondary ban phase in a world where a lot of junglers were priority banned at the beginning of Season 5. Now, Dodgy is ignored completely. Nemesis goes through secondary ban phase. And keep in mind, for Zyrhoes as well, the Thoth was not picked or banned. Discordia was prioritized with the Giannis being banned. So maybe he goes back into that mechanical skill set where he's comfortable in.
And this is the play we're talking about. And really, hats off to Aquarius, because that's like, what, a second of channel time away from being a solo kill in a 2v1. So, I mean, he certainly did everything as well as possible. It's not that Aquarius played poorly. It's that with the focus from Spacestation elsewhere on the map, Dignitas kind of had to go look for Aquarius and force a 2v1 that he did everything he could to survive and give Baskin time to get there, but it was just a little bit too much. So certainly, great play all around. Dignitas just finding the one area where they can keep QvoFred relevant so he could try and slow down what andinster and Baskin were doing.
And they're trying to shut down Baskin with the banning of the Uller, right? That's what they did, I believe, in both games. But the Apollo is another secondary option for him.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily think that maybe Apollo was the right option here, but allowing Uller to be banned here for Dignitas because of just the God pool coming out of Baskin here. I think that they maybe should focus out the circuit for themselves, not allow that one to go through for the next game.
It's just too much to try and ban out Baskin. I agree with you 100% on that one. So game one, totally, it felt like if Dignitas could hold on and make it to the late game, it would be too much for Spacestation, right? With the Aphrodite. But in game two, Dignitas held on, but they didn't have that big late game win condition anymore. Maybe Discordia could be that, but as we touched on, Zero's a little bit too far behind. So even though they stretched the game out, eventually Spacestation just with the double hunters was too strong.
That's very true. I think they just flip-flopped a little bit too much there around the fire.
Yeah, there were a couple calls.
Those two plays, very questionable. You got to be looking and reflecting about those two moments in time and be like, if we just did it a little bit faster, or maybe if we went for towers instead of the fire giant while Baskin and Aquarius was dead, then they could have cut that deficit, get back into the game, and then really use that late game Rama, allow also Zyrhoes to get back into the game, playing that Discordia, which also had some moments of brilliance as well, getting off some good stripes. There was one opportunity that they almost had onto Trixtank where the strife over the wall caught Trixtank, or I'm sorry, JeffHindla. He caught JeffHindla on the strife and did so much damage with the Nemesis ulti, the slice and dice, but then there was no immediate pluck coming from Variety instead. He was still holding on to it, and with that one missed opportunity, it was actually Spacestation Gaming going forward from there where they got the 2-for-0 there, and they got the Fire Giant, which resulted into that first solo lane Phoenix. With how much action and attention was onto JeffHindla, andinster blinks onto the backline, goes onto Zyrhoes because he had no beads at that moment, and then Aquarius just comes in to clean up Zyrhoes.
And that was what andinster did a great job of all game long, so I'm glad that you started touching on that one, is that he would get on the backline. Yes, Baskin's doing a ton of damage, and Aquarius was an excellent frontliner for them, but Andy was kind of the one that was deciding or finding someone in the backline isolated, hitting him at the last breath, or Cobra's kissing to pull beads. He was definitely setting up for the rest of the team to find targets to collapse on.
And that's why I'm kind of assuming that Circuit is going to be that high point of contention in this last and final game 3, with the series tied at 1-1 here. Keep in mind, with how epic this set is, the winner of this is going to advance to tomorrow to face off against rivals. So that's going to be an interesting set. And considering how back and forth between these two teams are, there's a little bit of history between Dignitas and Rival. So if Spacestation Gaming get there, I'm curious to see how they can handle their secondary European squad.
Yeah, if that is what happens and they end up moving on, there's a best of 3 between these two teams totally. So